Hello, and you are listening to the Book What's Better podcast, the podcast where we talk about the book of the film. I'm Luke.
I'm Laura.
And I'm Hannah.
And this week we're talking about Scooby-Doo!
Hey you, put down the popcorn and turn on the light. It's gonna be alright, my friend. In the end, take my hand. Trust me, the book was better.
Holy crap. Now, isn't this special? What a total family affair this is. My two sisters, Laura and Hannah, joining me for a very special episode of Book Was Better. How excited are you?
Yes. Excited.
Very.
Moderately.
Of course, you are huge podcast fans, the pair of you.
Of course. I've listened to at least 2 of them.
You listen to every single episode. Out of the 2 that you've listened to, what were your favourite 3?
I don't know. I just really like that girl that kept coming on. I can't remember her name. But she was your co-host in these two episodes I actually listened to.
Oh, she was great.
She was great. She was so great. I can't remember her name. I think she was a sister or something.
Oh, right.
Maybe.
Oh, that's a letdown. And Scooby-Doo, I offered you a platter. I went, to all lengths to really try and find something, of a level that you guys were able to keep up with, something that you would be able to relate to, something that spoke to your generation. If people don't know, there's about a, 14-year gap between myself and you, Laura?
Yep.
And then, 15, 16 years?
16, yeah.
16 years between Hannah and I. And also, this isn't Skype or any crazy technological Tron-like shenanigans. You guys are actually here.
Yes.
Yep.
In the toy room.
It's a studio. It's a very fancy recording studio.
Yes.
So why Scooby-Doo? Why did we settle on this one?
It was the best out of all your family-friendly options.
You told me that Hannah...
Hannah loves Scooby-Doo.
I do. I love the idea of people being monsters.
It resonates with us. We love to just, live in a van with our dog and solve mysteries.
Yeah.
Well, look at this. Do you think that the reason it resonates is because throughout life, and you know this as young people, throughout life... Listen, Laura, this is really important. You're going to get some really great advice from your older brother
really
here.
Insightful.
Throughout life, we're constantly, because we're a very neurotic society, we're jumping at ghosts and goblins, we're worried about things, we're like, I don't want to go to work today because there's a leprechaun. It's a metaphorical leprechaun.
Right.
But, metaphorical ghosts, goblins, all these things that we're sort of scared of, and they stop us from doing our best. But what Scooby-Doo shows us, that behind all these ghosts and goblins and stuff, you pull off the mask. And who's keeping us down? The man. The man is keeping us down. It's always the man.
Right.
And, I'm a man, so my worst enemy is myself. It's only me holding my back. It's not like a leprechaun at all. Speak to that.
I guess you're kind of onto something. I suppose it could be more it's humanity. Or even it's yourself, I don't know.
It's a mask you're putting on yourself, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
How about you, show a little bit of respect to your older brother and speak up a little bit? Huh? How about that? We're in a fancy studio. We've got a big array of microphones.
Yeah, so many.
How about we use them, eh? Goddamn kids today. What is the matter? Look, I might have some theories here. You don't have to agree with me just because I'm older and wiser. Mm-hmm. Mum's favourite. You just you can battle it out. If you think differently, I want to hear it. This is a thing. This is a conversation. It's not us, lecturing the listeners. They're belligerent. They don't understand half of what we're talking about. This is about you and I and you too. What's your name?
My name?
Yes.
My name's Hannah.
Hannah.
Yeah.
That's it. And
I'm your favourite.
I always thought it was Anna, but no, it's something like that. This is about us having a dialogue and us learning something. And we're using, there's some people who use the Bible. We're going to use Scooby-Doo. And if you disagree, just say so. If you've got a theory, I want to hear it. But I will fight you on it, is what I'm saying. So this one is written by author Suzanne Wen. W-E-Y-N. Wayne? And based on a screenplay by James Gunn. And what did James Gunn write and direct famously recently? Come on.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy. So there's...
But Slither will always be my favourite.
I've never
Yeah.
seen Slither.
Oh my
Seriously?
God.
Slither? You guys haven't
not
seen Mad Max
it?
Fury Road.
We
I know,
missed
but
it.
Mad
We
Max
missed it
at the
or
cinema.
slugs that climb into your mouth.
Oh
and
my
kill you.
God, this is like... I can't even look at you right
A
now.
naked villain.
I saw Super.
Yeah.
Slither.
Slither was better.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
If you watch Fury Road.
Okay.
Of course
Like
we
the
will. We
rest of
just
the free
missed
world.
it.
So anyway, look, he didn't write this book though. It wasn't like James Gunn was sitting there writing the Scooby-Doo junior novelization. This was Suzanne Wayne. We'll just call her Suzanne. Not to be confused with the other Suzanne in our lives. In my life, particularly. And she's an author of a lot of books, including Return to Cybertron from 1984.
Right.
You guys know what Cybertron is, right? Who comes from Cybertron?
Robots?
Yes. What sort of robots?
Transformers.
Robots in disguise would have been the cooler thing to say. It's so telling Mum that you said that as well. That's going to be my ringtone. Your swear on my family-friendly show.
Yeah, right.
The Day the Frogs Came to Lunch. I don't know what
Amazing.
that one's about. Do you want to elevate a picture for me?
It could be about one day when some frogs
Come to dinner, maybe?
were lunch.
Yeah.
Okay, look. I've just been trying to set up how this whole thing is like metaphorical, how we can like read between the lines, and you come up with the most literal reading.
Maybe it's
of
about
that
the
book.
French.
Okay, great. Racist too. This is why we can't live together. Mission without permission. That sounds like a bit of a
Bit rapey.
bit Cosby. And this other book is one that we have actually done on the show, Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium. You guys ever seen that one?
Yes.
Dustin Hoffman, Natalie Portman,
Yes.
being total assholes. Like they're jumping on mattresses and doing all sorts of stuff. They don't care who it hurts or how other people feel about it. Other people are just shopping for mattresses, being civilized. They're jumping around like lunatics.
What are you supposed to do in a store?
Well, be civilized. Be a civilized person.
Oh.
Not check your phone all the time. All right. So now this is a very unique book because each part is written from the point of view of one of the characters. So we have chapters written by Velma, chapters written by Shaggy, Fred, Daphne. So when we read out these excerpts, do we want to...
I'm not doing a voice.
Do we... No, we don't have to do a voice, but do we want to stick with consistent characters to help the listener identify between them? And obviously, look, there's 4 characters plus a certain other one that'll come up later. And there's 3 of us. So that's already like a little bit of a maths problem. But who do we want to be?
I guess I'll be Velma.
You're going to be Velma?
I am.
Okay, so Laura's Velma. Who do you want to be?
I don't mind. I could be Daphne.
You want to be Daphne? Look, you don't have to... We can be gender fluid here. If you want to be...
Fine, I'll be Fred.
If you want to be Fred, be Fred.
I'll be Fred.
Okay, well, be Fred. I'll be
will.
Daphne.
Okay.
And who's going to be Shaggy?
Yeah.
Should we mix it up?
Sure.
We'll mix up Shaggy.
Okay.
All right. So it starts with you, Velma.
No.
Here is the beginning.
Jinkies, it doesn't seem that long ago. My friends and I had some wild times back in high school. That's when we became Mystery Inc. and spent all our time solving mind-boggling mysteries. Our personalities were very different, but together we made an unstoppable team. My role was clear enough. I was the brainy girl, the smart one. That was okay with me. I never cared too much about being popular. I guess no one would have ever called me pretty, but I didn't care. Nothing made me happier than uncovering a clue that would help unravel a mystery.
Have we ever heard more conclusive proof that America absolutely hates smart people?
And that smart people can't be pretty.
No, she's obviously... She's... Or popular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, you know, when you look at, like, a lot of popular things in America, it does seem like smart is not part of that equation, right?
Right.
The other thing is, this book, unlike the film, and you know the film pretty well, right? The film starts with them solving a mystery in a toy factory.
Yeah.
This book picks up straight after that when they all are having tension with each other. So it misses that whole stuff with the ghost that's flying around, and then they reveal that it was just like old man,
was
what's
like a
his
janitor or
face?
something.
Yeah. And Pamela Anderson is there.
Yeah.
Because they were like making action figures of Pamela Anderson, which is kind of ironic, isn't it? Considering that she's like 95% plastic already.
Well, they already had a blueprint. It was easy.
That's right.
Just
And
had
she
a shrinker.
and she comes up and she's like, "Oh, Fred, I'm so thrilled that you saved me from this ghost or whatever." Anyway, speaking of Fred, Velma is having a lot of Fred drama here, and this really is like reading her live journal.
Without me, Fred would have been lucky to solve the mystery of how to tie his shoes. I guess it was because he was a guy, the coolest kid at Coolsville High. He honestly believed that because he was the star of the football team and all the girls loved him, that he deserved all the credit for the cases we solved.
How do we feel about that?
Coolsville High?
Coolsville. Did you know that they came from
so
Coolsville High?
lame.
Is that like
not.
official Scooby-Doo lore?
I don't know, but yeah.
The other thing I'll say to James Gunn's credit, a lot of the lines in this book are different from the ones in the film, and they're not as good as the ones in the film. I started watching the film, and I think the film's pretty shittily directed, but I was impressed that the script's actually quite tongue-in-cheek and self-referential and quite funny.
There are parts I still laugh at, and I've seen it a dozen times.
You guys need help. Have you seen the sequel, Monsters?
Yes, we have. Not as many times.
And isn't there a third one, but it doesn't have the original cast?
It's a prequel or something, but I've not
Okay.
seen that one. Draw the line there.
Well, look, while Velma's on a roll here, she does set up all the other characters. This is what she thinks of Daphne.
Daphne was rich and cute, just the kind of girl Fred liked.
So Fred's a gold digger. Yikes. And Scooby?
Scooby was a giant Great Dane who sometimes seemed more like a person than a dog. When he barked, it actually sounded like he was saying something.
So traditionally speaking, in the cartoon, do they usually understand what Scooby's saying, or is it just the dog language that... I mean, we kind of get what he's saying. He just replaces everything, puts an R at the beginning of every word. But did they understand what Scooby says?
From memory, I think they do. Well, Shaggy definitely does.
Does, yeah.
But I think the others do as well.
Okay, great.
I don't know.
Okay, well, next time I'll ask Wikipedia. and then also, speaking of Shaggy...
And come to think of it, Scooby's owner, Shaggy, often seemed more like a dog than a person. He was fun and agreeable, but also very goofy.
This is a junior novelization. I won't say a lot of massively positive things about the writing here, but I thought in terms of a really economical way to set up Scooby and Shaggy and their relationship, I thought that was pretty good. I'm gonna pass that. Judges?
Yeah.
You realise this is an audio thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What? They can't see me nod?
So look, things have gotten pretty shitty with the old Scooby gang. Tell it, Velma.
We'd just solved a big case on the day we decided to split up. I was feeling really crabby and unappreciated, especially since Fred had just taken the credit for one of my plans, again. I'd had enough of that and told him so.
Whoa, and this shit really escalates fast. This surprised me.
Before I could stop her, Daphne reached out and grabbed my glasses. Who's helpless now? I was totally blind. I'm gonna kill you, Daphne, I shouted.
I'm going to kill you, Daphne. Now, they have, been around spooks and spirits, the undead. Never, really been called in to solve murders and things, have they?
No, I don't think so. I think that's a bit out of their,
What about-
out of their depth.
That's too real for them.
Would you watch CSI Coolsville?
Yep.
If there was a dog in it, maybe.
Well, I think there would be a dog in it, right?
Well, then maybe.
If it was a dog who solved mysteries, then definitely.
Oh, you guys drive hard bargain. So, the team instantly dissolves, and we cut to Shaggy. I'm going to do this because Fred's coming up.
Sure.
Zoinks! I never thought it could happen. I thought my pals and I would solve mysteries together forever. And this is the number 2, together, the number 4, ever. Is this like a Prince song? Then Mystery Inc. broke up and it was just Scoob and me. And look, what's the whole urban... it became one of those things prior to the internet where people would go, hey, Scooby and Shaggy? I reckon that... What?
They're druggies.
They're druggies, yeah. So James Gunn, such a card that he is, the rascal, has them selling pots by the beach in this. Pots! Come on now! And a guy turns up who is described as being half business suit and half wild native feathers. I watched this in the film. It's a guy in a white shirt. Hannah's yawning. I'm not keeping you guys up. No, okay, great.
Alright, I'm not yawning yet.
It is very late. We've just gone and seen Nathan Fillion, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yes.
Was that exciting?
Yes.
Wasn't as exciting as this though, right?
Of course not.
There we go. So this guy, I'll get it exciting. Let me ramp this energy up, guys. This guy, half wild native feathers, offers them $10,000 to go to Mr. Emil Mondavarius's amusement park, which is called Spooky Island. They agree to go only because it's all you can eat. And here's a great bit of writing. The next thing we knew, we were walking through the airport, headed for some place called Spooky Island. I tried to think of it as Yummy Island.
Spooky Island's not enough for them.
I know, Yummy Island. You can't eat an island.
Spooky
You can't
Island.
eat an island. I don't care how hungry you are. Then it's time for Fred. This is your moment, Hannah. Make me
Okay.
proud.
I'm ready.
We've got family of broadcasters here. Let's go.
Oh, hey. I hadn't gone halfway across the lobby of the airport before I was spotted. 3 young women, obviously fans, looked at me and began to shout, "He's so cute! Oh my god, it's him! Adorable!"
So Fred's like thinking, yeah, Fred, he's got some magic working.
You've done it again.
But it turns out they are rushing to a baby instead, you stupid idiot, Fred! But that made me think, like, who sees a baby and goes, oh my god, it's him? Isn't that a weird response?
Unless they knew the baby.
What if the baby was Christ? I'm talking all about Christ a lot on the podcast lately. I think I might be converting.
We did already compare it to the Bible, so
I did, yeah.
maybe...
A very religious frame of mind. I think I'm becoming very studious and kind of
Pious?
pious, yeah, very introspective, thinking about the world. Why are we here? Why are you here?
For Nathan
Who are you?
Fillion.
Who are you here for Nathan Fillion? Yeah, so they're here for Nathan Fillion. I'm like,
Crazy.
let's do a podcast. Here, I'll put some chairs here. Sit down. There's a microphone. Look at these notes.
Talk louder!
Well, we got listeners. People around the world are hearing this.
Nathan might.
Nathan, he probably listens.
Yeah.
No,
big
you have to
fan.
do better than that.
Anyway, Fred, this is still you, Fred.
Yep.
Don't relax.
I'm still here.
He runs straight into Velma.
The last time we'd spoken, we'd both been very angry, but I didn't feel angry with her now. Too much time had passed. She didn't seem angry with me either.
Yeah, like about 3 pages have passed. Don't you find this whole, even the film, it breaks everybody up just to bring them back together like a scene later?
But yeah. It's the magic of movie.
Your one-word answers were quite enough, thank you. That's fine. This is our first 19-minute podcast. Look, Fred has written a book while Velma has been making missiles for NASA. And he definitely loathes her because she's smart. And this line is definitely not in the film.
NASA, huh? I said, trying to look interested. That's the company that created Pokemon, right? Which one's your favorite? I like the duck that shoots rays.
That's like a surprise Psyduck, just right out of nowhere. He doesn't...
Maybe they got funding from them.
From you, maybe.
The book got funding, not the movie.
Wouldn't that be great if America did put like a huge amount of defense budget into a duck that shoots rays? I think that would be pretty fantastic. Hey?
That's the best weapon
Hey
ever.
guys,
Yeah.
duck shoots rays? What do you reckon, hey?
No
Huh?
one will ever expect it.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the butterfly.
Alright, thank you. Yes. See, look, Hannah's starting to, riff on things.
Get out of
So
my
I'm glad.
cocoon.
Yeah, look at it. She's emerged, a beautiful butterfly, you hairy caterpillar here. Yeah, come on.
I'm not the hairy one here.
Well, it's my beard. And the ladies love it. The listeners love it. Sometimes they can hear it bristling in their ears while they're at the gym.
What the heck is that?
And look, guess who else is at the airport as we cross to Daphne. Daphne. Who's Daphne? I'm
You
Daphne.
are.
Oh, Daphne.
Yeah.
As if things weren't bad enough, the airline was being so mean, they wouldn't let me bring my bags on the plane. Then I looked over and saw Fred Jones hurrying toward me. Of all the people I did not want to see, and then it got worse. Velma Dinkley was with him. Bitch. God,
You do that
Daphne
too well.
is awful, isn't she? She's just an awful garbage person.
Well, they're just like typecasting.
Yeah.
No one likes Velma because she's smart. Daphne's like a pretty bitch.
And she's
Just
rich,
like
though.
Coolsville. What's wrong with Coolsville?
What is wrong with Coolsville? Wouldn't you like to see like a documentary or like a newscast, current affairs? We're in the heart of Coolsville. What's wrong with Coolsville?
It would just be like Stepford Wives.
Do you reckon? Yeah. And well, it's funny you should say that because that's kind of the direction this whole Spooky Island goes in a way.
Oh, very true. Maybe I was thinking about that.
You know what that's called when you reference something else like that?
Yes.
What?
Foreshadowing.
No, I mean like when you mention some. No, I'm just talking the plot thing. Like you brought up Stepford Wives.
Oh, no.
Intertextuality.
Okay.
These two were homeschooled.
I'm just pondering.
I'm going to ring up Mum and tell her about intertextuality.
I'm pretty sure you're going to get a phone call from Mum.
So she did, when she hears your F words. Okay, yes. So Daphne also totally loathes Velma for the crime of being smart. Velma sighed. I'd heard that sigh a million times. She always sighed like that when she was about to imply that Fred and I were just the two biggest dumbbells on the planet. Although Daphne does, straight away after this, give us the lowdown on this Mondavarius character. You guys never do the research, she began. He's a mysterious recluse obsessed with horror movies and amusement park rides. So that's the setup. That's what's happening here.
It kind of sounds like you.
Yeah, I know. I was just like,
This is why
This
you
is
like
my
this
life.
movie
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
If you had a theme park...
It would be horror based.
No, but I wouldn't let anyone in it because I don't like people.
Okay.
So it'd just be me.
That'd be a lonely park, just
Yeah.
you sitting at the top of the Ferris wheel.
But there'd be no one to like conduct the Ferris wheel, so I'll just be stuck there forever. It'd be
That's
amazing.
true. It's a very sad picture you're painting here.
No, it's
we're like
amazing.
we're like in the year of the robots. Like surely everything can be automated. You can just have like a remote control.
Is this the year of the robots?
Oh,
I thought
there.
it was the year of the goat.
Is it?
Yeah.
I wouldn't know.
Robotic code.
So, it could be. So, look, the whole gang has been given tickets to Spooky Island, including Scooby, who is in drag. Scooby-Doo staggered forward, stumbling in high heels, and it didn't stop with the heels. There was also a grey wig, a floral pattern dress, a floppy bonnet, no one wants a floppy bonnet, and a pair of rhinestone-studded glasses. Plus, he was wearing a hideous amount of red lipstick. Do you think the author does a good job at differentiating between these characters or not?
Yeah, I think so, a little bit.
I don't know. For me, it was like, oh, Velma, so I'll say Jinkies at the beginning, or I'll say Zoinks or like a couple of times. But for the most part, I think as Velma started, I thought that everything sounded like Velma. I mean, granted, you're getting the treat of hearing it read by a professional actor. So, maybe my performance is making you feel like it's better written than it is.
You do a good Daphne.
Yeah,
you do.
Yeah.
Well, Halloween.
Yeah, so maybe that's something you can look into.
Let's take off my facial hair, though. Maybe I'll be evil Daphne. So, back to Shaggy. Who wants to be Shaggy this time? Laura, you haven't done this for a while.
Not only was she beautiful with mustard blonde hair, smooth skin, blue eyes, and jello red lips, but she seemed to have an inner glow, as if she drank sunshine, or at the very least, sunny delight, for breakfast. Her long rigatoni curls tumbled around her shoulders like a halo of pasta.
Yeah, so is this Scooby-Doo or Hannibal we're talking about at this point? Now, look, I like this. This is the woman that he sees on the plane. Mm-hmm. And I actually really liked that, Shaggy is food obsessed. He's looking at her like she's a meal. And I kind of wish that carried through the rest of the book, but it doesn't. And this woman's particularly special because she's played by...
Isla Fisher.
Yeah. Fellow Australian, not just fellow Australian, a fellow Perth person. She has, allegedly, I wasn't there, but I do have friends, because she's around my age, that have talked about her vomiting in their garden. So, that's Isla Fisher, but she's doing an American accent, and I think this was the first American movie I saw Isla Fisher in. Although I think the movie was shot in Australia, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Gold Coast.
Yeah. So, I kind of wish she was like, going a bit like, oh, yeah, I'm Isla Fisher, hey, Shaggy, how you going, mate? You're a chill bloke, you're grouse. You're grouse, Cobby, you can put a shrimp in my barbie, I'll tell you. Hi?
I don't think she'd even sound like that anyway, though.
I think that's how she sounds.
Maybe you just stick with Daphne.
But she's from Perth.
Yeah.
Okay, so this woman, her name's Mary Jane, is totally nuts, though. She thinks Fred is hot. And I don't think this happens in the film. Do you remember this in the film? How does she, brings a box of Scooby snacks out, which she admits are dog food, and then starts eating them in front of Shaggy?
Yeah.
She does that?
She does that in the film, yeah.
So is he named Scooby after the snacks, or are the snacks named because he likes them so much? Like, what came first, the Scooby or the snack?
Oh my gosh.
Well, no, but in the like cartoon, they were like famous. People knew them, so the Scooby snack could have been made
first.
like brought out because of him.
Yeah.
So he's like this famous crime-solving dog, and this dog
He's got
biscuit
merchandise.
company makes them, and it also happens to be his favourite? Or
Yeah.
does he get a cut?
He probably gets them for free, and then he has to like them. But he's a dog. Dogs eat everything.
But if he gets them for free, like, why is it such a treat and an exciting thing when he gets to have them?
Because he's a dog. Have you never had a dog before?
No, I haven't. I can't believe he'd bring this up on the podcast. I got a cat. All right, then back to Velma. Go on, Velma.
Fred started lecturing me on behaviour modification for dogs, but when he tried demonstrating on Scooby, Scooby punched him in the nose.
No one likes Fred. I love that. Did that happen in the film? Scooby?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you watch the film?
I kind of did, but I kept phasing out. I saw it when it first came out I didn't see it at the cinema, but I saw it on a video, I guess it would have been, or DVD, I don't remember. But I didn't mind it. I thought it was funny, and I mean, it's a Scooby-Doo film. It's not going to be anything other than that, it's only going to be as good as Scooby-Doo could possibly be. And the fact that it reminds me of the way they treated, say, the Brady Bunch film, just really tongue-in-cheek and really kind of playing with those archetypes. And
That's kind of before my time.
Yeah.
the Brady Bunch movie's really funny.
No, I haven't
You
seen
should watch it. It's good. It totally takes the piss out of the whole thing. It makes them this horrible fish out of water family that have been stuck in that time, and they're in a modern world. Resounding silence. So they arrive on Spooky Island with a bunch of crazy spring breakers up to no good, and are greeted by a spooky statue who turns out really to be...
Shaggy grasped his wiggling fingers and pulled him all the way out of the statue. He was a thin, middle-aged man with dark hair.
Played by...
Rowan Atkinson.
Yes.
He studied the statue critically. It's a new exhibit. I haven't quite perfected it yet. Then he turned and looked us over. Welcome, he said, spreading his arms in a friendly, embracing gesture. I'm Mondavarius, owner of the amusement park.
Seriously, what the fuck is going... This is like if Walt Disney lived in a bin at the gates to, Tomorrowland or something. This guy's like a millionaire. Why is he hiding in a statue greeting people off the boat?
He loves his job.
It's Mr. Bean. Does it need any kind of, justification?
Yes, it does, Laura.
No, it's Mr. Bean.
So, look, it turns out this mystery, he thinks it involves possession because Mondavarius has noticed that...
The people entering with us were all very different from one another. Geebs, preps, goth kids, every kind of kid you could imagine. But all the people leaving were like cookie-cutter hipsters. They all looked exactly the same.
Yeah, come on, you guys are hip youth. Geebs.
No
I
idea.
really think that might be a misprint. I think it should be geeks.
I looked up Geebs on Urban Dictionary, and it was all gravity bongs related stuff. I don't even know what anything like that is. So, yeah, you think geeks?
I think geeks.
It does say Geebs in the books. In the book.
B isn't even anywhere near K, so
Well, that's
I
right.
don't understand.
Maybe the person was drunk. Look, novelizations don't have editors. They usually have interns to sort of flick through them. Anyway, back to Fred. He sees a goth leather stud guy who is being reprimanded by a girl, and he thinks some pretty chivalrous thoughts.
I didn't think much of it other than to wonder how I could make points with the girl. Sure, Daphne had once been my number one gal, but that was over now. I had to move on, and a guy who looked like that wouldn't be able to hang onto this cutie for long.
Make points with the girl. Did people talk like that when you were youngsters?
I don't
Not
think
to
so.
us.
No. I don't know how that scoring system works. And then suddenly, this cutie, as Fred puts it, has supernatural strength, and she slams the guy into the ground. And the guy says that his name is Brad the Goth. So yeah, nice work, James Gunn. And back to Shaggy briefly. And oh shit, I swear, I'm slow on the uptake. I only realised at this point that he's in love with a girl called Mary Jane. Huh? Marijuana? Mary Jane? Mary Jane's a word for marijuana. Yeah, the most sheltered homeschool. Like I said, they were homeschooled. Mary Jane Wana.
Yeah, okay.
It's another marijuana reference. People say,
You're seeing what you want to see.
I'll bring it up on bloody Urban Dictionary and then you'll be laughing on the other side of your faces.
Oh my gosh. Hope not.
Then, quickly to Daphne. The gang are all looking for clues on their own. These are different names than are given in the film. It was a really creepy place. The rides had names like Botched Surgery Water Slide, Boating Fatality Bumper Boats, and Den of Bruises. None of which really have that spooky ghost
It's
thing.
kind of like domestic violence theme park.
It's an occupational health and safety nightmare. The creepiest thing sounds like Fred, though. I think he's the creepiest thing in the whole park because he appears out of nowhere and grabs Daphne's arm. I snorted disgustedly. Like when you played around on me with all those fans, you were like a lion with impalas looking for the ones who were wounded or too young to know any better. That's really dark. Also really gross. Like, how young were these girls that Fred was going after and how wounded were they as well?
Well, don't forget they all met in high school, so...
He's going to be like trolling the Den of Bruises looking for the most battered 5-year-olds to take advantage of. So Daphne moves on to discover the voodoo maestro who's in a shack and he's about to sacrifice a store-bought chicken. And I get to read this because this is Daphne. Row op ringy pora ringo thingo stinko, he chanted. Hoo 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 rubby. Reno Bino Poker Kino Debobo. James Gunn, he's a genius, right? Mm-hmm. Guardians of the Galaxy. Think of all the money he's making now. The man that wrote Hoo 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 Rubby Reno Bino Poker Kino Debobo. Although we did read some Prince lyrics last week and that's probably better than those. Anyway, I like this. Voodoo Maestro, it does deliver a pretty sick burn to Daphne. Here's a clue. Purple and green are fall colours. It's the middle of May, he yelled. Hey guys, it's like I could have my cat on as a guest host and get more out of him. Hey, come on.
I couldn't.
Come on.
You can bring Frank in here and try.
Yeah, well, he's been on the podcast. Sometimes when I get really loud, he starts meowing because he thinks I'm in trouble. It's his protection instincts kick in. And he starts kicking down the door, and he's like, I'll kill you! I love you!
Oh my gosh.
Alright, to Velma. So Velma runs into a guy painted like a skeleton, a tattooed bald guy, and a giant Mexican wrestler performing some sort of ceremony or some shit. I don't know what they're doing here.
They began doing some kind of frenzied war dance. It seemed I'd stumbled into a full-scale weirdo musical production number.
And I'm so glad that James Gunn grew up to be funnier than this little gem.
Then the US government tested nuclear weapons here, creating a bizarre series of mutations, he continued. And then, in 1991, during the first and only concert by Cher and Vanilla Ice, 2 college students found themselves possessed by demonic influences. 9 months later, the Olsen twins were born.
It's like they sat down to the typewriter and were just like, how can I make this as dated as humanly possible? I want this to have a shelf life of about, the next 3 minutes. Crazy. So look, apparently the demons are angry that the amusement park was built here. I'm telling you this like I'm telling you something. You guys have seen the film more than I've had hot dinners.
Not quite that many.
Who cares though, because we actually switched to a little chapter written by Scooby-Doo himself. Anyone want to tackle this?
Nope.
Rinber rawest reroller rhine rat red ramburger rishray rit was very what we was hungry when we rough ramburgers we rolled the rinds until we round a rag. And that continues for quite a while as well.
Yeah, it was like a full paragraph.
That is amazing.
No.
That is amazing.
Back to Shaggy and Mary Jane.
Me? Okay. I can't believe that I said to her, we both play the bongos.
O's? Really, James Gunn? You guys aren't seeing this? You're not reading between the lines here with the Potts and the Mary Jane and the bongos?
I think you've just picked out the parts
Yeah.
that sound like
You're a
they're
journalist
backing
now.
up. They're
You
backing
guys,
up, yeah.
look, this is an absolutely valid reading of this text.
If you say so.
Oh my god, look. Get on the Facebook page, listeners, and educate these sheltered girls. Because I know some of you are really messed up out there. So look, the gang meet up. They investigate the spooky castle, which is basically a ride that has been closed down. It is far too dangerous. And Fred narrates and serves up some real zingers to Velma.
I suddenly felt a wave of tenderness for good old Velma. Velma, I said, I never meant to, pick you last. Don't worry about it, she said gruffly. I know you, Fred. All you care about are thin, good-looking babes. I couldn't believe that she thought I was that shallow. She had me all wrong. No, I insisted. I'm a man of substance. Dorky chicks like you turn me on every now and again.
He's got a great point. Well done, Fred. A man's man. Any dorky chicks that are listening, I feel the same way. The animatronic figures of jesters and executioners and things, they all come to life. And then we cut to Shaggy. Plastic, I said. Bummer. I joined Scooby to look at the plastic sausages. It sounds like they're in a some sort of adult shop. I'm both yawning all the way. It is late, to be fair. I am. These guys have had a really, really busy day. Plus, you're from the other side of the country where it's about 3 hours later than it is now.
2 currently.
2
Yeah,
hours.
so it'll be quarter to 1.
Yeah, it's pretty late for you guys. But this is important, we have listeners around the globe. I'm very, excited to... they want to know everything about me. Some of them have scrapbooks and things. And, you guys to be here and sort of be that little extra bit of insight is really wonderful.
Are we going to get stalked now?
Yeah, I don't want to stalk her.
Yeah.
No, you don't get stalked.
Okay,
That's
good.
fine.
They're too busy with Luke.
I'm
Too busy
stalking me.
stalking Luke.
Oh, my gentleman. They were looking at the plastic sausages when suddenly the sausage links sprang at us. They called around Scooby and me, strapping us tightly against the wall, getting all a little bit 50 Shades of
Sausage?
sausages. So back to Velma. Fred and Velma dodge traps and they find a VCR. They press play and...
An announcer, a pretty young woman, stood in front of them speaking to the audience. Welcome to America, she said in a peppy, clear announcer's voice. I am using the language English. Now that you're a young adult, you will need to learn societal do's and don'ts.
Don't you think that is the craziest thing in the entire book? An American speaking English?
Yeah, I didn't expect that, to be honest.
Probably walks on its hind legs too. Crazy. And, things get really weird for Daphne too. I found Scooby and Shaggy having a burp and fart contest in a room filled with gnawed plastic meat. It's like a Human Centipede 4 or something happening there. That's bizarre. Okay, so look, they escape the castle with a small pyramid clue called the... what do we say this?
Damon Ritus?
Ritus, yeah.
The Damon Ritus?
Ritus? Ritus?
Ritus.
Ritus. I was thinking about that for a moment. Damon Ritus. Okay. And Velma drinks a bloody skull in a bar with a guy that she calls Metalhead and reminisces about the old days, which were great, except for a bastard puppy called Scrappy-Doo.
What a pest that little dog had been. He never really fit in with the rest of us. We all found him annoying. We used to take him with us on cases because he was Scooby's nephew, but he annoyed us to death. Then, one afternoon, he announced that the time had come for us to appoint him as our unquestioned leader. None of us could believe it, but that was the last straw. We left him standing on the side of the road and took off.
Do you reckon that's the kind version of the story? You know how they go, oh, we went to a farm, or, we drove him off and let him loose into the woods or whatever. I reckon they might have injected him with something. No?
Maybe shot him.
Maybe shot him. I did like this line, though, that they say he wasn't even a puppy, that was a gland disorder. I think that's a good line. And then real shit finally happens. Is it still you, Velma?
Before Fred could finish, a 12-foot horned demon smashed his way through the window, sending glass flying in all directions. His flattened head was sunk into his monstrously muscular body. His terrible claws must have been 3 feet long. His body was transparent, like a ghost. It was safe to say that this was no man in a mask.
Do you guys accept this, or does this too much screw with the whole Scooby-Doo mythology? Because there's stuff in here that can't be men in masks. It's like actual demon stuff, right?
Yeah.
That's too much for them to handle.
Like, it is real demon stuff in this. I didn't skim. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that never happened before in Scooby-Doo, has it?
Well, maybe that's what they were going for. They wanted them to have a real kind of like supernatural case.
Okay. So you
Kind of blows on your whole physiological?
Psychological?
Oh, I don't know.
I still think the man is behind this.
Okay.
We'll see.
Did you finish the book?
Yeah, I know it's not the man. So the demons escape with Mondavarius, Fred and Velma, while Daphne, Shaggy and Scooby-Doo hide in giant vases, or vases, as the Americans might say. Oh, where's your English now? And then Daphne narrates. Mary Jane tries to do the one smart thing so far, but Mary Jane took a cell phone from her back pocket and began dialing. She saw me staring at her. I'm dialing for help, she explained. No, I've got this, I explained. I've got this! I turned away from her, back to spy on the demons. Daphne, you blew it. That was their chance. Don't you think, like, now that there are mobile phones, just there are so many old movies and stuff, you just solve every problem in those movies with a phone, just straight away. Bam,
It'd
done.
be like 10 minutes instead
Solved,
of like
yeah.
3 hours.
Die Hard, bam, done. Solved. Everything's just solved in a second. They wake up on the beach confused and everyone is being all spring breaky and wild. And then, wow, Mary Jane said, it's Sugar Ray. Who's he, I asked. Not he, them, she said, pointing to the band. They're like my favourite band. There's the lead singer, Mark McGrath. It's like, I really, really, really want to date this book. I didn't even know anything about Sugar Ray. Do you guys know about Sugar Ray?
Nope.
Not really, no. Except the lead singer might be called Mark McGrath.
You haven't seen the film, though. Were they good?
I don't think they featured very much. I think it was like... I don't even remember this exchange.
No, I don't remember that exchange, but I remember them playing.
I think there is a picture in the photo section. And look, we're up to the photo section right now. So, of Mark McGrath. Look, this is my favourite caption in the whole thing. Shaggy gets captured by a sausage monster. Why not just call it Scooby-Doo and the sausage monster? I'm pretty sure that, there we go. While Daphne is serenaded by Mark McGrath of Sugar Ray, little does she know that demons have stolen his soul. Spoilers. Well, we don't have to read the rest of that then now, do we? Actually, to its credit, it doesn't give away the ending completely, which normally the photo section does. It's like your sort of chance to just bail out early if you want to. No such luck, girls. We're nearly there, though. Shaggy finds Fred, but something's changed. No more ascot, new shirt and shorts. He hangs out with a cleaned-up metalhead and Brad the Goth, and he says... You're Fred, so you say it.
On me? Okay. Yo, what she said was like, whoa, and I was like, later on, Fred said to his friends in the voice that sounded as though he'd grown up in the valley instead of Coolsville, USA.
I would expect that is how they speak in Coolsville.
Is that an insult?
USA.
Like, I can't really tell.
What she said was like, wow, and I was like, later on.
Not that. Like, it's saying that he'd grown up in the valley instead of Coolsville. Like, is
That's
that an
how people in
insult
the
to the valley?
Yeah. What valley?
Yeah.
Say, like, all valleys?
All valleys. Hill Valley.
Maybe. Hillbilly Valley.
Cools Valley.
And Daphne sees another change. The shocking thing was Velma, without her glasses, wearing a bikini and makeup. She was shaking and dancing along with the rest of the strange crowd. I stood in front of her, but she didn't seem to recognize me. I really do like
Creepy.
this Velma. Velma strutted back and forth on the bench. I got your demons right here. Yeah, do I hear it? Love her. I think this was actually the origin of the sexy Velma, because I've photographed a sexy Velma. You see sexy Velmas all over the internet now. And you think, yeah, Velma's pretty sexy. But then you like look at the original Hanna-Barbera cartoon and you're like, wow, He's just not sexy.
She's like got a double chin nearly, doesn't she? He's like,
Well, she's just really kind of weird looking. But I think maybe this Linda Cardellini, Mrs. Hawkeye,
don't even get me started.
is I think she's the origin because she was a very sexy Velma. And then all the girls get red eyes and scream like demons for some reason. And Shaggy points out that even Sugar Ray are completely losing their shit. Shaggy, anyone?
The band had climbed to the roof and they were using their guitars like axes to chop their way into the shack.
Can you believe that? Sugar Ray, more like Sugar Carray.
They're poor
am I
guitars.
right? And Shags and Shags and Scoobs escape in a bike with Mary Jane. But
I'm probably the only one on earth who knows what Scooby is saying. It's a long paragraph.
under such duress.
When he's all excited like that. But even I couldn't believe what he was saying. He was trying to tell me that the branch hit Mary Jane and knocked her mask off. Like, what do you mean? There's a Mary Jane mask? I questioned him. He said that, like, underneath her face was a monster face.
Like all women, am I right?
Thanks.
Hey, Laura knows what I'm talking about.
Does she?
Hey,
You forget there's
Monster
two
face.
women in this room and one man.
face. Monster face.
You've got a monkey face, not a monster face.
Scooby and Shaggy fall into a mechanical monster mouth and discover a weird ritual involving a captured Daphne and the pyramid. I can't even remember who's talking now here.
I think it's still Shaggy.
Go Shaggy.
Okay. The pincer seemed to move magically into her without creating a wound. The pincer glowed as it twisted and dug inside her. It appeared to be searching for something.
Don't know what's happening here, but I'm very intrigued. And it you know what does happen? It pulls out her soul.
I could hear Daphne's soul speak much more clearly. You're taking my soul out of my body? That is so uncool.
And then her soul is swallowed by a demon. It's like, who is this film for? One becomes all Evil Dead. And there's a vat full of souls of all the possessed people from the park.
Looking back into the vat, I saw Fred's soul swirl by and grabbed him by the end of his spiny tail. He was like majorly freaked.
They describe him like he's a giant sperm all of a sudden. And then Velma, her soul fights the demon inside her body.
A beam of sunlight shone through a window high above us. It hit the demon's body and poof, whap. The demon exploded into glowing protoplasmic chunks.
And then Fred's soul winds up in Daphne's body. And then Daphne, the demon exploding was cool, but now I had a really big problem. I was inside Fred. It was terrible. And, yes, I said, who's in me? I am, Fred's voice answered, from my body. And then, like, Velma ends up inside Fred and Shaggy is inside Velma. It's like the porn parody in here. And there's even this sentence, Shaggy/Velma blew in my face. So, Voodoo Maestro explains that there's an attempt to perform the Dark Apocalypse ritual. James Gunn, what a winner there. Probably thought up that one over his breakfast.
Really, really clever.
Mind maps.
Which will release the demons who will rule Earth for 10,000 years. And he also calls them ghost-hunting Dawson's Creek-looking namby-pambies. Does he do that in
Again,
the...
like really clever insults.
Is that in the film?
I don't know.
Namby-pamby sounds familiar, but I might have just heard it in, day-to-day lingo.
Well, I'll bet. Scooby has a near unreadable passage where Mondavarius wants him as a sacrifice because he's the only one out of all of them with a pure soul. And then we cut to Velma and you're up, buddy, and the gang who decide to definitively regroup in order to save Scooby. And they seal the deal by eating dog food for some reason.
We all ate one. I'd never had a Scooby snack before, and now I felt like I was about to vomit. But the feeling of togetherness, being one with the gang again, was wonderful. Shaggy put out his hand, Fred, Daphne and I put our hands on top of his. Let's get junky with it, I shouted.
Now look, I know this hasn't been smooth sailing for you two tired little soldiers. And maybe our journey through this podcast has been like the journey of these characters. Kind of, they were kind of at odds with each other. They were sort of annoying each other. But now, this is the time when they get to regroup. They get to bring it together for the end, for the climax. So, putting my hand out. Let's Get jinky with it. Yeah!
That was by far the weirdest thing we've ever done.
A convoluted plan is formed. Fred babbles some bullshit, my favourite of which is...
If this works, it could be even cooler than the time we kicked Dan Van Dyke's butt with the cotton candy ghost.
Dick.
Was I Doc?
You said Dan.
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 Who's
I
Dan?
saw Van, and then I was going to say Dick for Dyke, because I was Dick Van Dyke.
She's
Sorry.
dyslexic.
The language on you two. Who's your favourite Ghostbuster? Dick Aykroyd?
No.
Okay. Don't you reckon, though? Dick Van Dyke's butt and the cotton candy ghost? That's your movie. What a missed opportunity. So the ritual begins. The team arrives as Scooby's soul is sucked out of his body. Hopefully it'll end up inside Velma, who'll begin licking herself. And Fred takes the opportunity in the confusion to unmask Mondavarius. Here it is. This is the moment. This is who was behind it all.
Electric sparks began snapping around Mondavarius's body. His chest began to crack open. Something was starting to come out of it. Scrappy-Doo, I shouted. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was Scooby's pesty nephew. All right, I knew him anywhere. He was wearing a biomechanical suit that made him seem to be a human body with a scrappy head.
I loved this choice in the film. Like, the fact that Gunn made the villain Scrappy-Doo, I just think is brilliant. I think it makes this film worth seeing alone. And he gets really big and scary, and he says all sorts of wonderful, scary bullshit like...
I'll do this one then. I, Scrappy-Dappy-Doo, shall inherit the promise of the... How are we saying it? Damon-Ritus, and the power of the Dark
Darkocalypse.
That's hard to say. He thundered, his voice booming in the huge room. I will rule the world with a demon army at my command.
I mean, let's really stop to appreciate this. We have Scrappy-Doo wanting to rule a demon army and, like, kill everybody. Isn't that amazing?
I wish my
Isn't
dog
it
did
amazing,
that.
Laura?
Yeah, I guess.
Imagine Homer doing
Or
that.
what would you
Amazing.
rather? Like,
Well,
was
it's like a tiny little dog. It's like a chihuahua. You just like...
would you rather it was like the janitor again?
It'd make more
The
sense.
cotton candy ghost?
Mary Jane turns out to be really one of the demon folk. Daphne does some kung fu on some dudes. And Velma tells us that all the demons are destroyed with the aid of a disco ball.
All around the room, demons popped out of the chest of the possessed college kids as their souls returned to their bodies. As the demons came out, they instantly were struck by sunlight and exploded.
And they end up capturing Scrappy-Doo.
Roger! Scooby-Doo cried happily. I turned to Fred and we smiled at each other. Well, I guess that wraps up another mystery, he said.
Well, I guess that wraps up another mystery indeed, my friends, because the real Mondavarius is freed. Mary Jane's returned to her body, and she takes an immediate liking to Scooby.
She grabbed his cheeks and rubbed them. What a good little schnookum-wookum. Scooby was in heaven. I could tell the three of them would get along just great from now on.
Oh, how much effort do you think I should spend typing this stuff out? Come on.
Maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
So that's interesting, hey? Scooby, Mary Jane, Shaggy, all living in their little mystery van with their pots.
And their munchies. Their Scooby snacks.
And then, look, we're up to the ending. So, it's Fred, but let's share this out. Let's go from... Oh, so they've heard about this mystery, a new mystery, which is the Mudbog Ghoul who's been terrorising London. Maybe he's not even mud, Daphne put in.
Maybe he's made of goo? Fastidious Daphne would never even have wanted to think about goo before this.
Whatever the case, Mystery Inc. will be there, I told the reporters. I put my hand out.
Shaggy put his on top of it. We'll be solving, like, mysteries.
Righting wrongs, Daphne added as she placed her hand on top of Shaggy's and mine.
Squashed together in the front seat, Velma said, adding her hand to the pile.
And then we heard from the one member of the gang who hadn't changed, who might never ever change. Thank goodness. All together now. Ruby dooby doo, Scooby. Cheered. My God, you guys, you must be exhausted after that effort.
Yeah, it was really, detailed, enthusiastic reading.
Yeah.
Never, barely get an Word in edgeways when you two start prattling, I tell you what. Bloody kept me on my toes, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you, because I always ask at this point in time, was the book better?
No.
No.
I agree. So, I also like to read an Amazon review or two. I've just got one here. Let's see what we thought of this. This is somebody who took a liking to the book. This book, the end-all must-have for anyone and everyone who liked the Scooby-Doo movie. Not only does it give you something to do while you wait for the DVD, it appears to have been written from an earlier version of the movie, so many scenes that had been left out are included in this book. Jinkies! I was surprised by the number of downright hilarious jokes, like the Psyduck joke maybe, that had been left out of the movie for reasons unknown to me, because they sucked. Unfortunately, but surprisingly, the more raunchy jokes have been altered, however, but since you can see them in the movie, it doesn't make much of a difference. It says for ages 8 to 12, but I'm 16 and I enjoyed it, and I think any Scooby fan will too. What better than this, 12-page book for your sweet 16th?
I would have picked them much younger by the way they wrote.
But can't you just imagine, you go and see this film in the cinema, and you love it. So you go back the next day, and the next, and the next, and the next, and then you go back and you're like, well, 1 ticket to Scooby-Doo, please! And they go, it's not on anymore. And you go, what? And they go, well, look, there's a bookstore in the mall. Why don't you go and get the book? And you can read that until the DVD comes out. And you're like, okay! And then you, go to the bookstore and you're like, a Scooby-Doo book, please! And then, you go home and you're just like, oh, this is so good! I can't wait for the DVD! And then, you just, 6 months.
And then you're compelled to write a review on Amazon.
Yeah. I gotta tell everybody about this! And then, that's what you do. You read this book, really intensely and intently. And then you start to go, I think that, the real demon is the man who's holding us back. And then I am that Amazon reviewer.
I think they were
That's the twist, and I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for you meddling kids coming in and fucking up my podcast. Just kidding. Hey. No, thank you, guys. Look, I've been looking forward, seriously, in all seriousness, I've been looking forward to this so much. I love doing the show with you guys. It's so nice to have you in, but we do have an incredible... We're only here for a couple of days, and it is an incredibly packed time, so this probably wasn't even the ideal time to do it, but I don't know if we would have got an opportunity otherwise, so I really do appreciate you doing it, and I'm sure the listeners will just be besides themselves, just be doing backflips at the gym.
Hopefully. If they don't, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's where the word gymnastics comes from. So shush, don't say anything. No, I know there's a lot of things you want to say, but just shush. Just shush. We said enough, just having you here. Just, basking in this wonderful energy that we've created tonight is fine for me. That's enough. That's enough of a gift. That's enough of a gift for me.
Good. Can we go to bed now?
All right. Well, please listen to the other shows. Huge FP cast this week. It'll be all our Supernova coverage. We'll be telling you all about Nathan Fillion and Adam Baldwin and all those other things that are going on. So we'll be, Jacinta and I will be back talking about our experiences on Monday, which is yesterday, if you're listening to this when it came out. ScarJo A Go-Go, of course, is on hiatus until Age of Ultron hits Blu-ray. And if you are a super fan, please go to patreon.com/fruitlesspursuits and you can pledge a couple of bucks a month and you'll receive bonus content, and you'll also get some of the episodes a little bit earlier than everybody else. Find out everything we're doing at fruitlesspursuits.com, and also we are on the roster at geekvision.tv, so check out those guys, and thank you to them for continuing to have our Australian asses all up in their American shit. So thanks again, guys. Really lovely to have you here. I hope you had some fun.
It's Scooby-Doo.
I know, it's Scooby-Doo. What can you do? What can you Scooby-Doo?
It's like our childhood.
Did I ruin your childhood?
Yes. Not because of this.
Now, say something nice.
About what? About
Just
you? Or about
life,
Scooby-Doo?
just everything. Scooby-Doo. I used to watch...
Okay, no, wait. You're interrupting me. I'm about to say something nice.
Okay.
I am very happy in this moment
Yes, that's wonderful. All right, I'm blinking back the tears here because this is very, very beautiful, touching moment. As I'm sure a lot of you people can feel it in your ears right now.
Feel it in their ears.
At the moment, they listen through their ears.
Feel moments in my ears.
You know? But if it's coming through headphones, where else are you gonna feel? Unless people have some very unorthodox ways of listening to this program that I don't know about. The show. Can you believe I've got a show? You must be very proud of you, brother.
Of course.
Can you believe I'm an award-winning director?
You are an award-winning director. You two are very creative people yourselves. You're filmmakers.
Yes.
Make films. You won an award
Yeah.
in our capital city.
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple of awards in our capital city, which, about 5 or 6 people living in it. So,
At least.
yeah,
There's 4 of us there, so...
the odds are pretty good. That's all good. All right. Well, look, thanks everyone again for listening. And do you guys remember the thing that gets said at the end of the show every time? Because you catch it. Psst, and then you trail out awkwardly.
Really?
Yeah.
Since when?
Since episode 1. This is episode 130.
No way, we've not done it before.
Of course you have. It's on every single show.
I think maybe we just mouthed it and just looked at it.
Really? Don't like bring it up. It's like on every show,
Okay.
including your shows.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's got like the origin of this. It's been a while since I said the origin. Is Jess on the very first show at the end because we didn't know what we were doing. We were just doing this thing, and she goes, "Okay, so we'll catch you on the flips." Oh, no, I'm not going to say that. And then I was like, "No, you said it. That's your catchphrase. That now we have to say that at the end of every show, and we have." So people do, and they trail out awkwardly at it. And then back when we had the Jumanji episode, we learnt that in order to finish, when you get into the final spot, you've got to yell Jumanji. So now I also say Jumanji at the end of every episode because that's how we know that it's finished.
It's like a code.
This is all these things that you're missing out on. So I don't care who does it. If you both do it, I'll catch you on the flips. And then, yeah. This is all in, by the way. This isn't being edited out.
Okay.
Okay, ready?
1, 2, 3.
Catch you on the flips.
Jumanji.